Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with another wonderful Australian Eloquence release. Well, it's mostly wonderful. I mean, nothing's ever perfect, is it? It's Colin Davis's Concertgebouw legacy, the things that he did on Philips with the Amsterdam Concertgebouw Orchestra, later the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra, whatever they want to call it this week. Here it's Concertgebouw Orchestra. Okay, fine. 18 CDs, and it's kind of interesting actually because it's rather neatly segregated into Haydn, Beethoven, Berlioz, Mussorgsky, Dvořák, and Stravinsky. That's what you get. And some of these performances are extraordinarily well known. Some of them a bit less so. Some of them are marvelous. Some of them are forgettable. So let's start here with Haydn. Actually, one of these is with the English Chamber Orchestra because they threw it in, thank you, Cyrus, to complete the Haydn Paris symphonies. So that's 82, 83, 84. Let's see. Oh, there's no 85. 86. Wait a minute. And there's no 87. Oh, yeah, there's 87. So where's 85? Ooh, he never got to 85. So it seems. Goodness gracious. Okay. Now, where are we with Davis's Haydn? This is an interesting conundrum in the world of Haydnosity. You see, Davis was really well known for his Haydn London symphonies, the last 12, which he made with the Concertgebouw, which are beautiful performances. Some of them are absolutely outstanding. Number 93, for example, is amazing. Really wonderful. But they came out at a time when the period instrument thing was getting going. Remember, Harnoncourt did these same symphonies with this same orchestra, and they sounded very different. Not better, by the way, just different. Anyway, the London symphonies are very good, but the great Haydn scholar H.C. Robbins Landon hated them because they didn't use his critical editions, which annoyed him to no end. So there were, there was a little controversy out there, but the playing is marvelous and the performances are beautiful and shapely, rather like Davis's Mozart, with the exception that Haydn can take a little bit more toughness, a little bit more Beethoven-like, vigor, and you don't always get that here. And as the series went on, and the digital era happened and whatnot, because it overlapped the beginning of that in the late 70s and early 80s, some of the performances were a little bit less interesting. Particularly, let's see, some of the late Paris symphonies, 86, I remember being a little bit heavy-handed. Things like that. They're always a little bit hit and miss. But for the most part, they were excellent, and the playing of the Concertgebouw was gorgeous. So that was fine. Then we have the Beethoven Violin Concerto with Arthur Grumio. Well, that's in the Grumio box, or at least it was supposed to be. Remember the Grumio box had two Beethoven Violin Concertos? They were almost identical to the second, but they put the same one in twice, and they tried to try and fix it, and we're never quite sure how that got cleared up. It supposedly did. This hopefully is the right one. I'll assume it is. Then we've got the Berlioz Symphonie Fantastique, a classic version that I always have felt was a little bit on the dull side, and not as well recorded as it could have been. It's lacking bass, and so, again, it was a reference recording for a lot of people for the Symphonie Fantastique, and Davis is a Berlioz specialist, but I found his earlier recording with the London Symphony simply more exciting. I mean, that was me. And then we have Mussorgsky, Pictures in an Exhibition at Night on Bald Mountain. Horrible, dreadful, awful performance. Well, it was sabotaged by grotesque early digital sound, just dry and denatured, and the performance itself was just not happening, and it really doesn't do anything at all for me, and it probably won't for you. Then we've got Dvořák. Okay. Dvořák 7, 8, and 9, first of all, for symphonies. The 7th is sensational. One of the great Dvořák recordings. Absolutely amazing. But it isn't consistent. The 8th, not so much. It has some strange tempo choices here and there, particularly at the end of the slow movement. Again, beautiful playing. but not the most refreshing performance. The New World Symphony, on the other hand, is also very, very good. It's somewhere between the seventh and the eighth. It's an excellent performance, but that seventh is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Then the Violin Concerto with Salvatore Accardo and the Romance. A lovely performance. Absolutely lovely, and one which is usually overlooked or ignored when it comes to Dvořák Violin Concerto performances. I mean, Accardo is generally overlooked now for some reason. He did that big Paganini set on Deutsche Grammophon and made a bunch of other recordings, and he was a very, very fine violinist. I think it's very good. Dvořák, the Cello Concerto in Silent Woods with Heinrich Schiff. Well, this was eclipsed by Heinrich Schiff's remake of the Dvořák Cello Concerto with Andrei Previn and the Vienna Philharmonic. This was still a wonderful performance, a beautiful performance, but the Previn is crisper and bolder and just overall more thrusting. I like the thrust. It just has more vigor and energy, I think, and the recording is also better in that case. But it's, again, very good. And last but not least, Stravinsky. And like the Dvořák, these were a little bit hit and missy. Well, I mean, they weren't missy. They were a little odd. The Firebird, everybody always loved. Some people thought it was a little bit soft-edged. The sonics were maybe a little cavernous because it's the Concertgebouw, but it's a beautiful Firebird. Absolutely lovely. Petrushka is tuneful and lyrical and not a slash and burn kind of Petrushka, but it's also very, very nicely done. And again, you hear this orchestra at full tilt do this music, because remember, Haydn did the same three Stravinsky ballets, but with the London Philharmonic. So he didn't do it with the Concertgebouw. Davis did, so there you go. The Rite of Spring is odd. The Rite of Spring was always a little bit odd. I don't know if he was using a slightly different addition in spots. The last chord, remember that final thing? He does some very strange things with. It's again a good performance, but it's you'll either like it because of its peculiarities, or you will dislike it because of its peculiarities. Remember, abnormal is fine. Stupid is not. It's not stupid. It's a little abnormal. But it's good to hear these things again. On the whole, this is a very, very fine box if you're in for the repertoire. The only real bow wow in the whole set is the Mussorgsky Pictures at an Exhibition Night on Bald Mountain, which is just, it was just a bad day for everybody. And that happens. It happens. But the rest of it, the Haydn symphonies are lovely. It's a little catch as catch can in terms of which ones you get. You do get also, 88, 92, and 91. 92 and 91 also was one of the later ones, if I'm not mistaken. And the Oxford was not one of his zippier performances, just to go back to that for a minute. But, it's really a lovely legacy, and I think it's very nice to have it boxed up. For the Stravinsky, for the Dvořák 7, for the Symphonie Fantastique, if you liked that version, and you may not need it again if you liked it that much, you already have it, and a whole pile of Haydn. It's really a lovely series of recordings. So I have no complaints beyond that. The ones already enumerated. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.